guys, how are you? So in today's session we are going to talk about libraries, and we are going to talk about the sklearn library, which is the scikit-learn library, and the stats model library. So these two libraries we are going to talk about in our today's session, basic overview of these two libraries. So let's start with this sklearn library, or we can say that scikit-learn library. Scikit-learn is a free machine learning library for Python. It is free that anyone can install in their system and use it for any purposes. It features various classification, regression, and clustering algorithms, including support vector machines, random forests, gradient boosting, k-means, and depth scan, and is designed to inter, interpret. Sorry for that, interoperate with the Python numerical and scientific libraries NumPy and SciPy. So basically, scikit-learn libraries has many algorithms, classification, regression, and algorithms basically like support vector machine, random forest, and other libraries too, like KNN, and you can say like linear regression, polynomial regression, linear regression, and others library too. And the scikit-learn project started as scikits.learn, a Google summer code of project by David Cornapio. This David has this make this scikit-learn library as a project, and this library is very useful for the machine learning task. Its name stems from the notation that it is scikit-learn scipy toolkit, a separately developed and distributed third-party extension to SciPy. So basically, it is a STEM notification like a SciPy toolkit, and it is separately developed and it is separately from the SciPy library. So for the documentation, you go to this link. I just add the link for the documentation for this scikit-learn library, and this is the documentation of the scikit-learn library. Let me open this documentation for you. Okay, so this is the documentation. As you can see, it contains many algorithms like classification algorithm, regression algorithm, clustering algorithm, and it is like overview. What is this? Get started, highlights, GitHub repository to get to see some implemented codes. Like here in GitHub live repository, you can see some codes here, and these are the overview, some clustering. Like you can make a fake data, like when you have to implement some algorithms, when you have to apply some models, you have some data, and where you get the data, like you want a data which while you are when you plot that data, it should be look like this. So you can't get a data like this beautifully, this that much clean data. So you get to know that how you can make a fake data like this. So here you can understand that how you can make a fake data and implement some algorithms like k-means, clustering, and other algorithms like. And these are the supervised learning algorithms, and like linear models, support vector machines, stochastic gradient, k-nearest neighbors, question process, naive Bayes algorithm, decision trees algorithm, ensemble methods, and other algorithms and other things also. So this is a basically scikit-learn documentation. You can just go and see, get some intuition, you get some insights from this documentation. It is very useful. So next comes is presentation. So that's all about the scikit-learn library. Next comes is how to install the scikit-learn library in your system. If you don't have scikit-learn library and you are using a Python IDLE, integrated development learning environment, in your system, then you can just open the command prompt and type pip install scikit-learn. Through this command, you just install the scikit-learn in your Python. And if you are using the any environment, if you have make any environment, then you have to open the environment, activate that environment, and in that environment write this command pip install scikit-learn, and boom, this scikit-learn library will get installed in your system for the Python ideally. And if you are using the Anaconda, or you are using the Anaconda environment, then just open the Anaconda or the open your Anaconda environment and write conda install -c anaconda scikit-learn. Through this command, the scikit-learn library will get installed in your system. So these are the two commands: pip install scikit-learn for the Python ideally, and conda install -c anaconda scikit-learn for the Anaconda environment. That's all for the scikit-learn library. Next comes the stats model. Stats model is a Python package that allows users to explore data, estimate statistical models, and perform statistics test. And basically, stats model used to the visualize the data and see how you can use the model, and it is also helps to create the fake data sets. And next comes an extensive list of descriptive statistics, statistical test, plotting functions, and the result statistics are available for different types of data and each estimator. Stats model is a part of Python scientific stack that is oriented towards data analysis and data science and statistics. So basically, it is very useful for the statistical things, like if you are making some fake data, if you have to plot some functions and see the results of statistics, and like you have to implement the Python scientific stack, which is oriented towards the data. Like if you want to implement any scientific operations which is related to the data that is available to you, then you can use this stats model library. Stats model is built on top of the numerical libraries like lumpy and scipy, integrated with pandas for data handling, and uses pasty for an r like formula interface. So basically, to perform the mathematical operations, to perform the statistical operations in this stats model library, this library uses the numpy. This library uses the numpy library in its backend and the scipy library in its backend. And for handling the data, as you know that when we have to handle the data, we use the pandas library. So for this, so similarly, like to handle the data in the stats model library, this library uses the pandas library in its backend, and also uses the pasty for like r like formula interface. Graphical functions are based on the matplotlib library. Basically, when you have to deal with the graphs and all in the stats model library, it uses the matplotlib library for the visualization of that graphs. I add the documentation link for this stats model library. You can visit this documentation and get some insights from that. So next comes the install stats model, that how you're going to install the stats model library in your system. Like if you are using the Python IDLE integrated development learning environment, then you can just open up your CMD and type pip install stats model, and through this you install the stats model library in your system for the Python IDLE. And if you are using the and if you are using any environment in that, then just open that environment, and by activating that environment and writing this line of code, the stats model library will get installed for your environment. And if you are using the Anaconda IDE integrated development environment, and if you are using any environment in this Anaconda, then you just open your Anaconda and you can open or activate your Anaconda environment and type this command anaconda install -c anaconda stats model. Through this command, you just install the stats model library in your system for the Anaconda IDE. So these are the command: pip install stats model, conda install -c anaconda stats model. So this is all about the installation for this stats model library. Next comes, like, this is how the stats model documentation will looks like, and here I open the stats model documentation for you. So this is the stats model library. You can see the introduction, like how you gonna use this stats model library. Just just import the stats model dot api module as sm, or stats model dot formula dot api as smf, and use this library for doing the data analytics or machine learning purposes. And there are some topics like installing stats model in the different things like pip in the anaconda or other things, user guide for this, and how this is working, like if you want to do time series analysis by using this stats model or data sets, okay, like which are the data sets are available in this. And there are other topics also in this stats model you can go through from this stats model documentation. It is very useful and it will increase your knowledge. So this is our PPT. This is our sessions, and so that's all about the stats model library. And I hope that I will give you a clear intuition about these stats model library and the scikit-learn library, which are very useful in the field of data science, data analytics, machine learning, deep learning, and artificial intelligence. So that's all about for the today's session. Thank you. Bye. Take care. Stay motivated and